Ladies and gentlemen, we often rush through life as if it's a race, never pausing to notice the treasures we've already gathered along the way. And among those treasures, none shines brighter than the presence of a good woman. Yet, isn't it curious, the human mind has a way of undervaluing what is constant, what is dependable, what is good. A good woman is not merely a companion, she is a reflection of life's beauty. She carries in her heart the rhythm of nature itself, a nurturing force that builds, heals, and sustains. Yet in our hurried pursuit of goals, distractions, and fleeting pleasures, we often fail to truly see her. But understand this taking her for granted is not just a loss of her, but a betrayal of life itself. You see, a good woman does not demand gratitude, she simply gives. Her love flows like a river, silent but strong, carving paths into the lives of those she touches. She doesn't announce her worth, it's there in her quiet strength, her ability to endure, and her willingness to uplift others even when she feels heavy. Now, some might say, well, I don't mean to take her for granted, but isn't that the very problem? Taking someone for granted isn't always a matter of intent, it's a matter of neglect. The warmth of her smile, the comfort of her presence, the quiet support she offers, it's so easy to mistake these as ordinary. But nothing about her is ordinary. You see, the universe doesn't gift us permanence. Everything we cherish, everything we love, exists within the delicate balance of impermanence. A good woman's patience isn't endless, her compassion isn't inexhaustible, and her loyalty isn't a birthright, it's a choice. She chooses to give, day after day, because she believes in the beauty of shared love and effort. So what happens when you fail to honor that choice? When her kindness is met with indifference? When her effort is seen as an expectation rather than a gift? Slowly, like a flower neglected, she will wither. Not out of spite, but because even the most giving heart needs to feel it is being fed. Here's the lesson: to truly cherish someone is to see them, to acknowledge them, and to reciprocate. It's not grand gestures or poetic declarations that sustain a bond. It's the quiet acts of attention, the small moments of gratitude, and the willingness to say, I see you and I value you. And isn't that what life is asking of us all? To wake up to the miracle of what already exists, to stop looking for something better while failing to honor what is already good. A good woman is not just a partner in life, she's a mirror, reflecting back to you the best parts of yourself. But if you stop looking into that mirror, you'll lose sight not only of her, but of yourself. So don't wait until her laughter is a distant memory or her kindness belongs to someone else. Love her now, cherish her now, and remind her not with words alone, but with actions that you see her, you value her, and you will never take her for granted. Because in the end, to take her for granted is to take life itself for granted. And life, my friends, does not tolerate indifference for long. A good woman's love and care are often so freely given that they can seem as natural as the air we breathe. But much like the air, we only truly notice its importance when it is gone. Her affection, loyalty, and effort are not born out of obligation, but are acts of choices she makes every single day. And yet the human mind has a peculiar tendency: it grows accustomed to what is consistent, mistaking constancy for something ordinary. The value of what is freely given diminishes not because it has changed, but because we have failed to truly see it. When a good woman loves, her actions speak louder than her words. She listens attentively to your worries, even when she's carrying her own. She supports your dreams, often at the cost of her own. She is the steady hand that lifts you when you fall, the quiet strength in moments of chaos. This isn't mere convenience, it's her way of showing love in the most authentic form. However, the ease with which she gives can lead to the illusion that her presence and care will always be there, no matter what. This assumption is where the danger lies. What she offers is not transactional. She doesn't count her contributions or demand acknowledgement. Yet just because she doesn't ask for appreciation doesn't mean she doesn't need it. Deep down, she craves to be seen, to know that her love and effort are valued. But when that need goes unmet, when her care is taken for granted and imbalance begins to grow, over time, even the strongest and most giving hearts can wear thin when left unnoticed or unappreciated. Consider how life often plays out. We focus on chasing goals, solving problems, and navigating the endless stream of daily tasks. In this whirlwind, the things that seem stable, the people who seem unwavering, fade into the background. It's easy to assume that a good woman's support will continue regardless, that her love will endure without acknowledgement. But relationships, like anything of value, require nurturing. Neglect does not breed resentment overnight, but it sows small seeds of doubt, dissatisfaction, and eventually detachment. The essence of a good woman's love is its quiet strength. She doesn't loudly demand recognition for her sacrifices or broadcast her struggles. This quietness is precisely why her contributions are often overlooked. Ironically, it's also what makes them so precious. Her willingness to give freely isn't a sign of weakness or servitude. It's an expression of immense strength and deep compassion. It's a choice rooted in her belief in the goodness of connection and the beauty of partnership. When you fail to value what is freely given, you risk more than losing her. You risk losing a part of yourself. Relationships mirror who we are. They reflect our ability to love, to recognize worth, and to nurture connections. Taking her for granted not only diminishes her, but also diminishes your own capacity to fully engage with the richness of life. Gratitude isn't just for her benefit. It's a practice that enhances your own awareness and appreciation for what you have. Imagine for a moment a garden. If you never water it, assuming the rain will always come, the flowers will eventually wilt, not because they lack potential or beauty, but because they weren't cared for. A good woman's love is much the same. While her patience and compassion may seem infinite, they are not immune to neglect. Her heart, though strong, is not unbreakable. It is essential to recognize that her choice to love you is just that, a choice. She chooses to stand by you when things are tough. She chooses to forgive your flaws and support your dreams. She chooses to give her time, her energy, and her heart. These choices are not obligations, they are gifts. And gifts, by their nature, deserve acknowledgement. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or poetic declarations. It's found in the small, everyday actions that show her you see her and appreciate her. A thank you for her efforts, an expression of admiration for her strength, or simply pausing to ask how she's feeling. These moments matter more than you might realize. They tell her that her love is not being overlooked, that her contributions are meaningful, and that she as a person is cherished. Life has a way of humbling us when we fail to value its gifts. If you take a good woman for granted, life may one day remove her from your grasp, not out of cruelty, but as a reminder of what you failed to honor. And in her absence, you will feel the weight of what was freely given and freely ignored. The true tragedy is not just losing her, it's the realization that you could have chosen differently. You could have seen her, cherished her, and nurtured the bond she so willingly offered. And to value what is freely given is to recognize the profound generosity in her love and the strength it takes to give it. It's to understand that her care is not a guarantee, but a gift, one that should be met with gratitude, respect, and the willingness to reciprocate in kind. Love, in its most authentic form, is a verb. It's not what we say, but what we do that gives love its depth, its power, and its meaning. Words, though sweet and often reassuring, are fleeting. They are easy to utter but harder to embody. A good woman knows the difference between hollow promises and genuine care. She recognizes that true appreciation isn't found in elaborate declarations, but in the small, consistent acts that affirm her worth. Cherishing her means showing her, every day, that she is seen, valued, and loved not through grand gestures alone, but through the quiet, meaningful ways that actions speak louder than words ever could. Think for a moment about the rhythm of daily life. It is in the mundane and the routine that love often faces its greatest tests. When everything feels predictable, The temptation is to fall into complacency, to assume that the bond you share is self-sustaining, needing no special attention. But this assumption can be the very thing that erodes connection over time. A good woman doesn't seek constant praise or attention, but she does need to feel that her presence is acknowledged, her contributions are appreciated, and her love is reciprocated. Her words might express these sentiments, but actions make them real. Consider the simplicity of time spent together. A shared meal, a walk in the evening, or even a moment of silence where phones are set aside and eyes meet. These are the spaces where love breathes. They might seem small, even insignificant, but they carry weight. To cherish her through actions is to invest in these moments, to show her that no matter how busy or chaotic life becomes, she remains a priority. It's in these gestures, the quiet dedication of time and attention, that love feels tangible. Acts of love don't have to be monumental. They live in the details: the cup of coffee made just the way she likes it, the blanket pulled over her when she's fallen asleep, the text sent in the middle of the day to let her know she's on your mind. These actions may seem trivial, but they are anything but. They tell her without a single word that she matters. They remind her that she is cared for, not out of obligation, but because you genuinely want to see her happy. But cherishing her is not just about the sweet and tender moments. It is also about showing up when it matters most. It's being there when life feels heavy for her, when she's carrying burdens that she doesn't even know how to articulate. It's the willingness to listen without judgment, to stand by her side even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Love isn't always easy, but it is in these harder times that actions speak the loudest. When you choose to stand firm in her storm, you show her that she is not alone, that her struggles are shared, and that your love is strong enough to hold her through it. Actions also mean supporting her dreams and aspirations, even when they don't align perfectly with your own. It's encouraging her to grow, to pursue her passions, and to become the fullest version of herself. To cherish her is to celebrate her individuality, not just as a partner, but as a person with her own unique path. It's the small yet profound choices, like attending her important events, encouraging her when she doubts herself, or simply expressing pride in her accomplishments, that make her feel truly cherished. The irony is that these actions, though simple, require effort. They demand mindfulness and intentionality, a willingness to step out of autopilot and into awareness. It's easy to take shortcuts, to assume that saying "I love you" is enough, or that yesterday's actions carry over into today. But love is not static. It's an ongoing act of creation, a choice you make each day to nurture what you've built together. A good woman doesn't expect perfection, nor does she demand that you move mountains to prove your love. What she seeks is authenticity, the quiet reassurance that she is loved not just in word but in deed. It's the little things done consistently that build the foundation of trust and security. She wants to feel that your actions align with your words, that your promises are more than fleeting sentiments, and that your love is as steadfast as hers. When actions are absent, even the most loving words begin to lose their meaning. A good woman will hear the sweetness of what you say, but will notice the absence of what you do. Over time, she may start to question the sincerity of your affection, not because she doubts you, but because she needs to feel that love in ways that words alone cannot convey. To cherish her is to understand that actions are not just additions to love, they are its essence. Love thrives in the space between intention and execution, where feelings become acts of kindness and care. By cherishing her through actions, you not only nurture her heart, but also strengthen the bond you share. The beauty of love lies not in grandiose displays, but in the quiet, deliberate gestures that remind her day after day that she is loved, valued, and seen. These actions, no matter how small, weave a tapestry of connection, trust, and appreciation that words could never achieve on their own. Life, in its essence, is a fleeting phenomenon. Every moment we experience, every connection we build, and every love we share exists within the boundaries of impermanence. This is not a tragedy, but a truth of fundamental reality that serves as both a challenge and a gift. To live fully and love deeply requires an awareness of this impermanence, for it is in acknowledging the fragility of what we hold dear that we learn to cherish it. A good woman's presence in your life, her love and her devotion are no exception to this rule. They too are finite, and to take them for granted is to misunderstand the nature of life itself. Impermanence is not just a concept, it is woven into the fabric of existence. Seasons change, time moves forward, and nothing remains as it was. Relationships are no different. They are living, breathing entities shaped by the actions, words, and choices of those involved. When we forget this, when we act as though the bonds we share will naturally persist without care or attention, we risk allowing the beauty of those connections to wither. A good woman's patience and love are generous, but they are not infinite. Her willingness to give is not an endless resource. It must be replenished with appreciation, kindness, and reciprocation. To ignore impermanence is to fall into the trap of assumption. It is easy to assume that a good woman's affection will remain steadfast regardless of how it is treated. This assumption, however, is a dangerous one. Love, like any living thing, needs to be nurtured. It cannot thrive in an environment of neglect or indifference. When you take her for granted, when you fail to see the effort she pours into the relationship, you are not only risking the bond you share, but also eroding her sense of being valued. Over time, even the most devoted heart can grow weary of being overlooked. Awareness of impermanence is not meant to instill fear, but to inspire presence. When you understand that nothing in life is guaranteed, you begin to approach each moment with greater mindfulness. You stop delaying gratitude, thinking there will always be another opportunity to express it. You stop assuming there will be time later to repair what has been neglected. Instead, you act now, recognizing that each moment is a chance to honor the love and connection you have. A good woman's presence in your life is not a given, it is a gift. And gifts, by their nature, are precious because they are not owed. Think of the moments you've shared with her, the laughter, the support, the quiet understanding that doesn't need words. These are not trivial. They are the building blocks of a bond that gives meaning to life. But these moments, like all others, exist within the flow of time. They cannot be frozen or revisited. They can only be experienced and cherished as they happen. When you become aware of this, you begin to see her not as a fixture in your life, but as someone whose love and presence are extraordinary. This awareness transforms how you approach her, moving you from complacency to appreciation. Impermanence also demands that you face the reality of change. People evolve, circumstances shift, and relationships must adapt. A good woman's love may be steadfast, but she, too, is a dynamic being shaped by her own experiences and growth. If you fail to adapt with her, if you resist the natural evolution of your connection, you risk creating a distance that might eventually become insurmountable. Awareness of impermanence encourages you to remain engaged, to listen, to understand her needs as they change, and to meet her where she is rather than where you assume she will always be. This awareness is not merely about her, it is also about you. To acknowledge impermanence is to recognize that your own time is limited. How you spend it, who you spend it with, and how you treat those you care about are choices that define your life. Taking a good woman's love for granted is, in a sense, a denial of your own mortality. It is an avoidance of the reality that one day, either through choice or circumstance, what you have now may no longer exist. This understanding should not paralyze you, but motivate you to act with greater care, respect, and love. Love is a profound opportunity, a chance to experience connection and meaning in a world that often feels transient and uncertain. But that opportunity is only as enduring as the effort you invest in it. A good woman's love is not a constant to be assumed, it is a treasure to be continually earned. By living with the awareness of impermanence, you begin to see her not as someone who will always be there, no matter what, but as someone whose presence enriches your life in ways that deserve your full attention and effort. Every smile she shares, every moment of support she offers, and every ounce of patience she extends is part of a fleeting irreplaceable tapestry of time. Impermanence does not diminish their value, it amplifies it. It reminds you that now is the moment to act, to cherish her, and to honor the bond you share. For in the end, it is not what you intended to do tomorrow, but what you chose to do today that will define the legacy of your love.